Shalom, Salama, Siemi, Shalawam. Greetings, Israelites, whether you're grafted in as a Gentile, Israelite by blood. This is a title that's going to have a lot of people kind of confused, and I'm going to preface it like this. Please be patient with me because I'm gonna get about 3 or 4 minutes so I can have this kind of build up, and you see where I'm coming with the title of the Most High's credit authorization. And so when I get on up in the morning, I usually go for a couple miles worth of a walk in the morning. That just gets my juices flowing. I always think about when Yeshua HaMashiach was on the earth, he would walk with his disciples. They would walk everywhere. It's not like they didn't have transportation. They could have had, horses and donkeys and all these other things. But there's something significant with walking. And I think when we also look back, biblically speaking, the Most High walked with Adam in the cool of the day. When you are walking spiritually, also when you're walking with the Most High, when you're walking with Christ, you can kind of see and understand some things a little clearer because there's a little bit more clarity. There's nothing in front of us or behind us that really captures our attention at the moment because all we're just putting one foot forward. We're moving. We're going forward. Even with running. I would always think about that too. Even with running, we are always putting one foot forward. And so it was just interesting because as I was walking, I saw that the skies were, kind of clear, but then as I'm still within the canopy of the trees, I thought to myself, I said, I want to have to kind of understand my limit for my walk because um, it feels because you feel the humidity. I'm in the Tampa Bay area. You feel the humidity, so it's like okay, so you feel that it's going to rain later on today, so I may have to kind of tamper my walk. And sure enough, as I kind of get out of the canopy and there's a clearing, I see the thunder showers, the tops of the cumulonimbus clouds developing, and you know it confirmed what what I was feeling. And see, that is one of the things that we're starting to realize. We have a spiritual disposition that we are feeling what's happening, and then it takes just a little bit of time to kind of see and have that met with clarity with what the Most High was already telling you. It's what the Spirit was already telling you. And so as I'm walking and just thinking about that, I was thinking about, okay, what am I going to present to the people? I said, Lord, I don't know what to present. I'm not a preacher. Matter of fact, I'm not an everyday preacher. I'm not an everyday teacher. I said, I don't portend to be a version of Our Daily Bread where I give you a 5-10 minute breakdown and then give you scriptures along the way to, pray about um, for clarity's sake throughout the day. Because here's the thing, I think that if we know who we are and we know where we're at, our zealousness is already going to push us into where we need to go. Because see, I think it's a different zealousness that we have right now because we know who we are. We know who we are. See, when you didn't know who you were or who we were just honestly, we were just out there. We were just out there. And I look at it like this: we weren't out there to necessarily lose, but we were just out there to play the game to have survival. We were out there to play the game to survive. And many of us are doing that right to this very day. Because here's the thing: even in this day, in this time, nothing is secure. But as I was still walking and reflecting on different things, I thought about this. I thought about how many of us, when we first start a new job or we first encounter something different, we want to be able to understand and know that job, because we understand that if we don't understand and we don't completely know that job, because they're going to do what, have you in a probationary or training period, which is what they always have. Because why? It makes sure that even though you're hired on, they want to give you a 60, 90-day training grace period to where you are capable of what they need you to do and you can demonstrate that capability. See, when that usually happens for us, we know that we have to work so much harder than our other counterparts because they're working in an authorization that we don't necessarily have. Let me repeat that. They're working in an authorization that we don't necessarily have. See, we are saved by grace. We definitely are. We're saved by grace. However, in the natural, we still have to operate under different constructs. We get that. When I'm pulled over by a police officer, my experience will be generally a little bit different than a white person's experience being pulled over by a police officer. Well, you're just making it on up. No, I'm not. That's actually done off of the Department of Justice. The studies confirm it. It's just the lazy folks that always want to say, no, that's not the case. And then they don't want to bring facts. They don't want to look up facts. And here's the thing: I don't need to look up facts. We already know what facts are. You can look it on up. You can dispute it, provide a video, provide links, and counter me. Because look, my job isn't to be the academic source. I'm just telling you what is on out there and what's been proven. Dismiss my claims. But when you already know that that's already been claimed, it's already been on out there, it's already been published, then you can't really go back and say, well, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Because that's being disingenuous. And so the reason that disingenuity can actually occur and does actually occur in this society is because, see, we have not been authorized by the Most High. Okay? And I like to kind of do the little quip of those pictures, the struggle of climbing up the hill with the boulder, and then the credit cards. Because, we are literally within the credit limit application to have the approval by the Most High. Think about that. I have a need. What's my need? I need to get out of captivity. How do I get out of captivity? I need to seek the face of the Most High. What do you need? How do you need to seek the face of the Most High? Well, I need to apply myself and do what? Fast and pray. And then after I apply myself to what? Fast and pray, then I have to wait on that application to be decided. But I know that I kind of get a little bit of a quote unquote head start or a cheat because the application is going to be approved, but it's going to be approved at a certain time. So we have to look at it like this. This is a different application. This isn't a man-made process. This is a most high process. So the most highest process is, look, you have to be patient, and that patience is literally rolling that boulder up the mountain. And see, the thing that we're looking for, we're not looking for the financial security, and we're not trying to be secured in the carnality. Because here's the thing: if we're trying to be secured in this carnality, in this wealth system, then that's the wrong thing to be secured under. And if that's your case, where it's like, I need to have that money for this, I need to have that money for that, then you know what? I really do pity you. Because I understand this. Even for me, I'm going through some things, but I know that I'm relying on the Most High to provide for my needs. And I understand what time it is in this era. See, it isn't time to go on out there and try to do things in your carnality. Because here's the thing: you can try to apply for cars, homes, credit cards, things of that nature, but they're going to start denying you. You may have a fantastic credit score, but they're actually starting to pull that credit back. This is what the banks are doing right now. Because why? Because they understand that there's a deficit that's in the system. See, we relied on the system of man for so long that we now understand. Do you understand that when we see the cracks in the system, that means they see the cracks and then they cannot ignore the cracks? They'll try to say, no, you're lying. Those cracks, I don't see what you're saying. I don't see it. Well, there may be something. Well, there may be this. There may be that. Because here's the thing: just like we can always tell this, because listen, we live through the process of what is happening in this economic system. I wouldn't say the world system. It is the world system, but here in the U.S.'s economic system, which comprises of the world system because it's on a world dollar. It's on a dollar standard. And we understand that there's countries trying to do their best to run away from the dollar standard, because here's the thing: nobody wants to get sucked up into a Ponzi scheme. See, they know that they're going to be on out there and sucked up into the Ponzi scheme, because they know that they have, and this is in the financial world, it's called exposure. They've exposed themselves too much. Financial exposure, how much that they've leveraged, how much that they've invested, how much that they put it all in. Because the strategy, remember, for the 80s and 90s is, if you invest in the dollar, guess what? it does no wrong. But you've seen from the 80s and 90s, you've had all of these financial issues with different recessions, bubbles, and other financial accounting plagues because the system is to shield greed with greed. And that never works. It just never works. It didn't work during the Roman period, and it's not going to actually work in this period. So we already know that the system is falling and then another system is rising. But as for me, I want to go to the one that's the righteous system. Because out of this, two systems are actually going to come on out. It's going to be the beast system and it's going to be the kingdom of the Most High system. So when we look at those systems and we see how this thing is starting to shape up, we see that we have an application on out there. We have a credit application on out there for authorization by the Most High. And it's not to say, well, I want unlimited funds. I want to never work. Want to never do this or never do that. Because you got to think differently because everybody's going to be a servant. Everybody has a capacity to serve. But wouldn't it be so much nice to serve and to work and to do what the skills and the gifts that the Most High has blessed you with in the capacity to where you're not in captivity? See, when I was walking, one of the things that came to my mind was, well, how did these folks, knowing that when Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, was on the scene, how did they not know any better? How would they not know about the wise men with Herod? How could they not understand all the things that was going on in the land? How did they not hear about Jesus's exploits and understand that he was more than what people are talking about? And then the funny thing is, right, at that same exact time, the Holy Spirit has said, well, guess what? Think about where you're at right now. Think about where you're at right now in this very moment, August 14th, this very moment. You've shown people, the earth has demonstrated it. All these wars and rumors of wars are illustrating it. All these fires, volcanoes, earthquakes. We just had an earthquake in North Carolina earlier this week. All these things are here. You're saying it, you're showing it, you're demonstrating it, but you got to understand that the heart of the people, it's ruled for wickedness. And see, you have to also understand people would rather accept wickedness than the truth. And that's a shame. But you also have to understand that, when you actually look at the books of Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Zechariah, These minor prophets of like Habakkuk and Obadiah and Amos. At that time, they said, look, there's going to be a time that people will try to run away from wickedness. And the only thing that's going to be on their mind is how to be clean and righteous. Because that day is coming. And I honestly believe that that day is going to be just around the corner, because you understand that the wickedness has been in this system, has already reached it's reached its measure to heaven. Because the Most High allowed it. He allowed it. He gave them their authorization. He gave them their lease. He gave them their credit approval. And guess what? They're running out of credit. So the credit card of wickedness that they were able to cash in so dearly, it's getting ready to lose its luster. It's getting ready to lose its standard. Because you got to remember, as soon as their application and their credit and their authorization is denied, our authorization is approved. So that's just something to kind of think about and ponder today. And I hope was not too much of a burden of a lesson. So if you like what I share, if you like the content here at Covenant Awakenings, please like, share, and subscribe. Also visit us at covenantawakenings.com. I also have a Patreon and Cash App, and that's going to be in the link description below. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to HebrewSphere.com. It's HebrewSphere.com, a place for us to be us. I don't know the motto. I was just kind of having that at the top of my head. But Minister Dante Fortson, shout out to him. He has created a social media site for us to share ideas, to collaborate. And I would hope that if anyone that hears my voice, I would pray that you would sign up. That's all for me at Covenant Awakenings. So shalom, salama siemi, shalom, blessings and peace, Israel.